Well, I got my little piece made here, and fits a curve pretty good, and I laid it on here approximately where it's going to go and marked it and rough cut it. So what I got to do is weld this up into here right about the middle like that. Yeah, it's not going to give me a big wide piece like this used to be, but it'll give me a kind of a round edge. I'll try to weld it on there good enough so I can get a fairly smooth transition. Don't know how well it's going to turn out, but that's the first thing I got to do is get it tacked in there. Here it is, roughly tacked in. I'll go ahead and try to do this a little better. It's kind of hard. I didn't cut that line perfectly straight, so I've got a little gap right here in it. But looking down from the top here, looks pretty good all the way around. So I need to get this welded in there first, and then I'll clean up my corner, and then I'll see about making that vertical patch. So I'll get it welded up and bring it back. And there it is, welded in. Wasn't really all that easy. Wasn't too bad because I could weld in from the big rod up into the tin. It did burn through several places, but I've got this all pretty much done. Looks like might have a few holes right in this area here. Can't really tell until I don't want to pile a bunch of weld up on that if I don't have to, but it's plenty solid. I thought I could put a piece of metal on the inside, but this is the only way I can get to the inside is this top part here. That's not where it's rusted out. It's rusted out down here in this bottom. This is below the, see my finger in there? This is below the floorboard. So I'll just have to spray that full of rust preventer. I may try to force a little Bondo in there to kind of plug the areas. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I can put my little plate on it here. You know, it'll fit right in here somewhere. What I'll do is just get me a place that's about the right size, force it in there, and hopefully tack weld it. At this point I'm not sure whether I should put a plate on the all the way here at the outside or try to come inside here. weld up under the bottom. I'll have to study that edge. It looks like it should go straight down from here, so maybe just below the bottom. So this is a fairly flush area going down. A lot of welding. I don't know if this is burnt through or not. Hope not. Well, if I do, I can put another few tack welds in there, grind it down, see what I got first. And then I can tell from there. For sure I got a hole right there. We'll see. More grinding. Grind and fill. But anyway, this is going to be a really super solid. None of this is even tweaking even a little bit. So that'll be a bumper almost. I need to probably bring this out a little round, sort of like this right in here. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when I get it ground down. I just noticed with this light on it, and this, you can feel it here. There's a, let's see, there's a pretty good dent right there. I don't know if I can get to that at all. I don't know. Looks like I can get part of it. Feels like it. Got my arm down in here. Looks like it's about 6 or 7 inches from the door. I can get some of this out. Maybe I'll try to work on that a little bit before I get into finishing up that patch. Now that I see this dip, maybe I can do something about it. I was able to get some of it out. Quite a bit actually. But there's a bar right here I can't get to. And right up in here I can't really get into this area. Looks like I'm going to have to probably make me a hammer that's deep enough that I can hit in there. All my stuff's too short, you know, it's a couple inches long. I need a kind of a good long body hammer. I don't have a pick either. And I did knock some of this out. It means I gotta grind some of that Bondo off. But it's going to make this whole area a lot better. And you couldn't really hardly see that dent. Boy, you really can see it when that light's in that position. So anyway, deal for another day. You know, an hour of fooling around with this and making some tools, and I can get it pretty straight. I did work on the bumper here, the fender. This had a pretty good dent in it. I got most of this out. I worked on this area. Can't really see here, but I got most of that real straight too. But that door really sticks out. I'll get that fixed, and that'll be a good job on that. Here's a cab corner kind of cut out. I've got it real close here. I ground this down what I could. Don't look too bad. And the corner fits pretty good. I'm going to have a little welding right in here. I need to knock this down just a little. So this will fit in there, right? So looks like this piece is gonna be good enough. I put it up in there and I'll start tacking it back here. And then I'll just work my way around to the front here and push it in and tack it, push it in and tack it, and we'll eventually get it to where it's like this. And then I can do a little bead here on the bottom and then grind it off. I think I can do that without grinding off my weld. It's stainless steel, sure looks pretty on there. I started working on this little corner here, took some Bondo off. I still got to make a tool to get the rest of that dent out of there. Kind of see it there. It's really not that bad, but do need some work on it. Anyway, I'll fire up the welder and start tacking this thing in. I'll bring it back, show you what we got. There's a cab corner in. A lot of this was really thin, like up in here, it kept burning through. I tried to patch this up as much as I could. I've got a little bit too much lip on here. Once this was hot over here, I beat it over. I'm going to try to put a little welder on here. Then I grind this all off. I'm going to weld it first and see if I can just put a little bead around here. Maybe patch this a little more. It's not what I wanted. Not by any means, but at least it's a cab corner. It'll look better once I grind off that bottom, but I'm not too impressed with my work. It would have been much better to have had a bead roller or something and make the correct patch panel. But at least it's better than a big old rust hole. Can't see much more than that. We'll see what happens when I get it welded up. Here's quite a bit of grinding and polishing later. Really kind of hard to tell with the marks in it. This part here is rusted out real bad. I'll try to weld these up a little. This edge here, I didn't really want to grind this off completely because it's a butt weld and it'll take all my weld off. But I didn't get the shape I wanted. It's really kind of hard to tell. If I threw a little black paint on it, you could probably see it better. But it is coming out. Right in here is pretty good. But it's kind of going in. And then this kind of got flattened out here with all the grinding. It's not bad right there in the back. But it's roughly the shape that I wanted. It's obviously not nothing like this one. And I can't really do too much more with it. Every time I try to weld on it, it just blows through. So I could probably patch these holes up a little bit more, do a little more grinding on it. I had taken this and welded the corner up and beat it over. I don't have that hole fixed there yet. Not sure what I'll do in that. I'll probably just open the door and just fill this all up with weld in here, some rod or something, or I might put a little piece of metal in it. And I mean, it looks really bad here right now. Isn't a close-up, but you get away from it a little bit, and sort of an acceptable repair. You need a lot of fine tuning on it to get it good, but at least it's kind of got a rounded corner on it. Of course, I could shape this all with Bondo, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I still gotta knock that big old dent out. It looks really bad here in the camera. Real life, it's not too bad. But I'm gonna take a little break here, and then I'll see what I can do about patching the rest of them holes and move on. Now I got this corner pretty much ground up. Looks like I could probably fill it a little more right there. But it's all welded into the body here. Got a couple loose edges, but I think that's good enough. Anymore trying to work with the metal is just gonna make more problems. Actually, this is pretty straight here, and I've got a kind of lump, so back here in the back I can feel this a little rough, but basically that's a pretty decent corner patch. It's all solid and ground down. Looks pretty good. Little Bondo, and this will be just fine. Even without it. I think maybe I'm just gonna squirt a little black paint. I still need to trim the bottom of that door. I'm gonna grind that, see if I can get it a little better. Well, that's not bad. And it's clearing good here. Looked like I might grind just a little out of that corner there. But it's clearing. Got a nice smooth line on it here. Smooth line on it here, and it comes out into a little bit of a hump. I think that's good enough. Not the best job. I think since I've got it here, I'm going to mix up a little Bondo and see what I can do about straightening this out. I don't know if I should do that or just leave it alone. I think I'm just going to put some Bondo on it. Just kind of smooth that out across there. See what kind of results I got. Well, they don't look too terribly bad. It does look like my metal was about the same thickness all the way around there. I've got not that much Bondo on there, but I think that once I do a little sanding on it, flatten it out, and then cut this little round curve in it, that'll look good. Looks good from here. So the metal work felt pretty good. It just looked bad. But once I put a little layer of Bondo on it, it straightened it right out. Mostly because it's all the same color now. Anyway, I'll let this harden up and I'll trim it down and see what it looks like. I let it harden up and did a little rough sanding on it. It's pretty good shape. I've got a few low spots here, a little bit right in here, but it all looks pretty good. Looks like I need to cut a little metal off of the bottom here, but I can fill this hole here a little better with some Bondo, and just put another coat on here, and the next little sanding should take everything out. So that's actually looks good from up here. A lot better than having a rusted corner. So a little more Bondo will fix this. Well, there it is. Pretty much sanded down. I've got a couple little tiny places in it. All in all, it looks pretty good. I'm going to hit it with a little primer here. Well, there it is. A little shiny right now, but basically it's Not bad at all. And looking at it from up here, got a pretty nice shape to it. It's not the best job, but it's pretty good. And I did work on this a little more. I probably need to knock in this. It's still a little low. Not exactly sure how I'll fix that. Got a pretty good dent right here in it. It's got to get knocked in. Maybe I'll just try to put a dolly in there and do that right now. Well, I got this hammered in. There's a trick. You can heat stuff up real hot and then hit it with a cold, wet rag and it'll shrink. I had a patch right here, but this is where the metal had stretched up into here. But I've got it hammered down pretty good. Might have a little high spot, but it's all really lower than the door. And so I'm gonna just rough this up, throw another little light thin coat of Bondo on it, and I think that'll be good for the door. This is all dried out. Looks pretty good. Kind of straight. And you can see a little edge in it. It's not perfect, but that's plenty good for the quality I was after. We're not putting a shiny paint on it or anything. Try to get it to kind of match rusty. But I think I've got this big lump here taken out. I'm going to put a little Bondo on it and see what it looks like. Well, that's that. Until it's got a real nice curve to it. Straight. I don't want to see that lump there anymore. That's kind of bad Bondo, but I can tell that it's that lump is completely gone. That's a really thin coat. So a little sanding on that when it's dry. Another skim coat, and it'll be just fine. I got rid of that lump completely. So basically I need a little sanding on this. Another fine coat. Looks like some of this dent's still here. I'll have to work on that a little. But I got most of it out. Good enough anyway. And basically I got a done deal on door. Hinge works good. Closes good. Looks like my door locked itself. There we go. But it don't take much force to close it. Once I get some rubber in it, it'll have a nice solid slam to it. So that's kind of finish on my corner patch. I guess I ought to take my gas filler and put in there. Just keep going around and around this thing little by little. maybe enough for a video on the corner patch. I sanded this down. I've got a buffer polisher here. It turns real slow, but it has a loop, hook and loop thing, and I put a big piece of sandpaper on it. And I was able to hog this down pretty good. So this turned out nice. You can see I still got some little dents here, but that's like maybe a 1/16 of an inch of Bondo. This turned out real nice. I'm gonna have to do the whole truck, at least the fenders and stuff. You can't really see in here, but I got dents, small ones. This here, I need to grind it down. There's quite a bit of work that needs to be done right here on this fender. I welded it up, just burnt holes in it, but I need to grind this down and finish it. I think I'm gonna use these fenders here. I squished this one down a little, and I can see that's gonna fit pretty decently. I don't know where it's gonna go or anything here, but I'm gonna try to use these fenders. Here's the other side. This one, the cab corner. And you can see there at the bottom, this whole door is gone. Got a pretty good dent right there. But I think rather than leaving this kind of rat roddy, I'm going to do my best to at least knock all the fenders out real good, and probably paint this thing. I want to try to get some pretty good money out of it, so it's going to take a little more work, actually quite a bit more work, but I was just roughly thinking that this would look real good with the black fenders and all the body brown. Of course, I'm going to get it just first of all just put together and running and driving and all the body work done. I can clean this up a little here and get the Bondo down pretty rough ground. This big grinder here is really taking it off fast. I had got this little electric DA, but it's not much good. It's good for what it is, but it's not gonna be able to take any big area down without a lot of work, constant charging the battery. But my cab corner's done, looks good. This whole door is pretty much done. Just a little Bondo and sanding now. And move forward. I guess the next thing will be to try to patch this other cab corner. Keep on going. I just whacked this with a little sandable flat primer, and see, it looks pretty decent. It looks actually really good if compared to the way it was. All that corners fixed. Don't look bad at all. And this kind of black paint sort of matches the rest of it. So that's good enough for now.